Today is 11/29/2018. It's an 11/11/11 day. And so I had the biggest, humongous revelation just a second ago. I went back listening to the revelation of what happened when source energy came into my room, and it was revealed to me about who I am, who Ron is, who Rondi is, and the pillars, the Israel. And I remember that moment when it came through. I was in awe and I cried because I said, my God, this ascends above the twin flame name and divine complement name. This is huge. And the energy of source is so huge that it had to split itself into separation to know itself because of the vastness of this knowledge and this vastness of love, vastness of wisdom. And so as I listened to that and I went into listening back to the revelation I had from the dream to do with Snoop Dogg, and the power, how it comes through the father energy, the father element, and he crowned himself and gave himself that star, the Hollywood star, And then as I've listened to that, then I went to another note where I looked up the 41444 because that is the code. That is the master code. That is the master code, the master principles of the code of the self and the oneness of self as it balances itself inner, outer, and also everything in the outer of the outer layers and the inner layers and more layers that go deep within that self. And so as I realized, and I said, something, why would I even hide this with who I am? Because it's sacred, yes, but it's not a secret. It's not a secret because we often think that when we have this power that someone's going to take it away from us, lions and tigers and bears. Oh my, lions and tigers and bears. Oh my, and then we go into this fear, and then we go into more fear because we base it on what other people might say and how they might feel and what it's going to do to them because I have all this power. And so usually what people do is they diminish themselves. They diminish themselves to do with their own power because they feel uncomfortable that the other person may not be comfortable with their own power, because that's happened with me too, where I know how strong I am. I know how powerful I am. I know I am and I am. And I'm not afraid to speak with who I am. I am Nefertiti, for God's good goddess sake. I am she, I am me, I am the all. And so, when I think of it, I said, what? I said, I'm going to share this revelation. I'm going to share it, and I'm going to share everything else. And I'm not in fear of it because, it says, if I know the goddess within me has the almighty power and presence of I am, whom shall I fear? Whom shall I fear? Because I abide within the almighty power of the presence of the I am within me. And therefore there is nothing for me to be afraid of. So all along, when we think that Dorothy was afraid of her self and getting home, truly she was afraid of her own power. She went into her head because she said she had no brain with the scarecrow, and then she figured that she had to find a way for someone else to help her along the way, and so she didn't know she had the heart to do it, and so she needed her heart back again. She needed to come in to connect again. See, so then she figured out she got her heart, right? And then she met the cowardly lion, and she was in fear of herself. She was afraid of what she may find out about herself. And everything that's flowing through me, what I'm saying is not me. This is the Holy Spirit. It's just moving through me. And it wasn't because she was to click her heels to come home. She was afraid to come home. She was afraid. She was in fear of coming home. She was in fear of herself. She was in fear of who she is. She was in fear of what she can do and be. She was afraid of her light. She was afraid of her power. And so sometimes often what's happened is that when we have this power, we don't even know what the fuck to do with it. So usually what people do is they take the power and they exercise it over someone else instead of using the power within themselves to what they can create. And so we use our power to what we can create and bring forth these manifestations. But you have to align with this greatness. And that means that you're not in fear of this greatness. The great I am. How great thou art. How great thou art. Then the Christ consciousness shall come with shouts of acclamation, and their proclaim, my God, God is how great thou and I are. You see, because it comes out and it's an inward power. And then it comes outward, this power. See? And again, you cannot give any fucks what anybody says or how anybody feels about this power, because they may not understand it because they're not ready for it. And it's not for you to dim your light or to dim this power. You know, like when they say, oh, there's a power outage here. And what happens when you have a power outage? And usually they say, well, you got to get a generator, you got to get some candles. But that's like the limited amount of power. And what happens when we're able to turn that power back on? It's like becomes majestic, like, oh, and it's like a mighty roar, like the lion, you see? And so she all along, Dorothy, she thought it had to do with her clicking her heels and coming home, but it really is about remembering your true power. It's about remembering your true power, remembering who you are. And then when you find out, then you're like, oh shit. Oh, that's what happened with me. I was like, oh shit. Oh my God, what am I gonna do? You know, when I was at the restaurant with my children back in 2015, and I heard when the Holy Spirit said, no, this was Father God now, because I know when it's Father God, when it's Source, and then the Holy Spirit I referred to as Mother. That's Mother, you know, it's such a different energy and it's still power. And so Father God said to me, Source energy, said, if I sent my son, what makes you think I didn't send my daughter first? And I was like, oh shit, no, please don't tell me this. You know, when you find out about yourself, and then when, you know, they say you open that Pandora's box, and, you know, it's like Dorothy when she's like, oh, I landed here on the magical land, and I killed the wicked witch is dead. And then here comes another witch, right? So it's a battle we have within ourselves, the good witch and the bad witch. You know, I'm not a witch. Yes, I am. Don't say those words. I don't like it. I don't want to know who I am. I had a reading I did with someone yesterday, and it was most interesting because turns out she's on a twin soul journey, and her twin is a transgender. I was like, wow, I love when I get these different types of readings. It's so fascinating, you know? And I mentioned to her about what I saw in spirit with her to do with the fairies, and I mentioned to her the movie Maleficent and all that. And she, you know what she said to me? She said, I've been afraid to watch those movies. I didn't want to watch it. I didn't want to watch Maleficent. She didn't want to watch another movie. I don't remember the name of it. And I said to her, I said, you know why you didn't want to watch it? I said, because you're in fear of knowing about yourself and remembering who you are, because there's a part of you, your soul is awakening you to your true powers. And oftentimes when these powers come, we are taught by family or somebody, oh, no, don't do that. Dim it down now. Don't let this one see it. Don't let nobody know about this. This is not good, because, you know, you're just in this fear. Lions and tigers and bears, oh my, I'm in fear of who she is. I'm in fear of who he is. I'm in fear of the power they have together. That's the reason why all that information is out there, to twist things around so you don't remember yourself and you disempower yourself and be in fear. And then it comes with the religious programming, structural, focusing on what this person is doing, all the stories, the pain, the, you know, sorrow, disempowerment, you know, that's the cycle of coming back to the self, of course. But you know, all the fear of what it may happen when you align with your true frequency, and the fear of what you may find out, and the fear of what happens when it comes together. See, that's what it is. And so you forget what that power means for you once you find out, because you're like, oh shit, I didn't want to know. Oh no, I don't want to know this, man. God, why you got to do this to me? Why? I don't want to know. Okay, I got to hide now, because I don't want Sally Mae and Joe to find out, because, you know, I'll get repercussion. And see, that's what happens, is that we are afraid of what people may say and how they may react. And then I say, you know, I said, Father, Mother God, I said, you know, it feels so good to be free. There's different levels to this freedom. Because you see, the truth is 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 the truth. The truth shall set you free. If it is true, how could you possibly feel that you're forsaken? If it is true and it rings out to your soul, how could you possibly feel as if it's not right? It is right. It feels right. That's why your heart leads you back to your home, to yourself. And then as you uncover the layers of the self of what is not, you know, you say, I am. Oh gosh, that's who I am. Oh my goodness. Oh, this is me. Oh, couldn't be. It's Skagali. Think about that in Jamaican thing. I just love this. You know, and so I am finds out who I am is, right? Who you are. You find out who you are. You find out the power. You find out about your twin soul or who you're connected to. And then as you find out and you uncover more stuff to do it yourself, it's like, oh shit. And then all the I am not comes up and like, no, you're not. Yes, I am. No, you're not. Yes, I am. No, you're not. And then somebody comes up and says, no, that's not who you are. And then you're like, yes, see, I knew it. I knew that's not who I was. And then you battle it again because then you get all of the I am showing up again. Like, but I do love you. No, you don't. Yes, I do. But you left me. But you abandoned me. But you disappointed me. You left me. You abandoned me. And then there's that fear, you know, of being let down and what may happen again because it triggers all the emotions that you've had that have been collected throughout millenniums, not just this life, but all your lives. That what you've collected in data and what it does to you, for you, with these experiences. You see, the experiences that you've had. And these experiences that you've had have been sort of tainted, so to speak. And so to come back to self, you have to go through all the what you call it, impurification, so to speak. And it is through the emotions and it's through crying, screaming, yelling, shouting, declaring, whatever it takes for you to release. So you purify yourself through the water element. Why the North Node in Cancer takes us deeper. Almost everyone that I was in contact with, they said, oh, I went deeper, Sharon. I'm like, I know. I went deeper too. I went deeper, you know, it's like Venus in retrograde took me so much even deeper. I went even deeper than the eclipses. And I was like, woo, this is deeper than the eclipse. And it's like a part of my body was like, I don't want this. I don't choose this. This is not nice. Oh, and you had to endure it. I had to put up with it. I had to face it. I had to swim in it. I had to grovel in it. I had to integrate it. So that's why so many of us are going through what we call the periods of integration. This is what integration means, is that we're integrating all the shadow parts of ourselves, the parts of ourselves that have been in fear of self, the parts of ourselves that have been in fear of who we are. And that I know who I am, you know who you are. And if I feel I see something that I know who you are, it's not for me to tell you. It's for you to know. You know what they say? It's for me to know and for you to find out. Something like that. You know, all these little sayings have something, comes from somewhere, you know, from a source of some kind. Aha, did you hear that? It came from a source. Source breaks itself up into many portions. And so what maybe come from source in one way, comes from source in another way. And that's why it is imperative to stay in your motherfucking lane. Stay in thy lane. I'm speaking like how they did in the scripture. Stay in thy lane. I am. Thyself with thy am, with thy are. Thy who, you, be me. Me. You. Ay. I don't know when the Spanish people when they say, ay. ¿Qué pasó? ¿Cómo está? Muy bueno. Mi no bueno. I'm good, I'm not good. You know, I've had that asked me, you know, how you doing? You sure you want to know? There's a lot of stuff going on. I ain't gonna lie. And you see, all of this has to do with being authentic. Authenticity. What does it mean to be authentic? What does it mean for you to be in the space of authenticity? And that means that you're embracing all of you, all the elements of the yous and the V's and the W's and the XYZs, you know, from A to Z. All of the parts of the self. And you know, you can't even count. Because you see, you make up a part of me, I make up a part of you, and we make up a part of ourselves. You know, it's like the Matrix when he had to make a decision, Neo, when he finally found out he was the one. You remember? He found out who he was, and he was like, oh, fuck. And then he found out that he was in love with Trinity, and she was his one, his counterpart. And then he had to save the world, so to speak. We're not here to save the world. We're only here to save ourselves and to remember ourselves. That's the key. Remember yourself. Remember thyself. And ancient Kemet said, know thyself. Do you know who you are? Do you really know who you are? Do you see what I see? La, 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 la. But what I see, you may not see the same thing. You see, because what I see and what I feel, you might feel and see it differently. You see, and that's why it's important again to pay attention to your own power and your own knowingness of who you are, what's shown to you, and following the yellow brick road. Follow the yellow brick road. I love these children's stories because you see, it is a depiction of what is and is not and is. It comes together. You see, so as you awaken to yourself and awaken to your true power, now it's time to really step into that plate now. That's right. You got to walk this shit. You got to walk it like you talk it. Walk it like you talk it. Walk it like you talk it. Talk it like you walk it. Walk it and talk it. You are stepping into that place now. So many of you are awakening, knowing yourself, remembering who you are and not. Whether it shows up within yourself and shows up through your twin soul, who you're connected to. In my case, it shows up as 2. That's why I got 2 for the price of 1. And yesterday when I was driving, I saw on a license plate, Mr. Boost. That's what it said. I just kid you not. It said Mr. Boost, and then the vehicle that was right next to it. It's like you just can't make this shit up. The vehicle right next to it says I think it said to motivate or to ignite or something like that. It was just, it says too active, something like that. I want to make sure I read it properly because I was trying to capture it in the license plate and it was like came out blurry and everything. Yep, it says too active, and then the plate next to it said Mr. Boost. And that was so funny. And they were side by side in front of me. And then as I drove, I saw Kings on the, a street name. It said Kings. So I knew that was a sign from my divine complement twin soul higher self saying, there's an extra boost coming here. They're ignited. They're fired up now. That's why I had the dream yesterday to do with these males that were naked. They were naked. They were naked in the dream, and they were put in like to be quarantined or something, like they had to be quarantined, and they look kind of Arabic Indian looking, and they had to be quarantined into a place where they had to face their nakedness, and not with being ashamed, but more it felt like they had to see themselves. They had to see themselves. And we can look at it as nakedness as being embarrassing, but being naked doesn't mean you're embarrassed. Being naked just means that you're finally seeing yourself. You're seeing the core of yourself. And that's what being authentic is seeing the core of yourself, because as you're stripping away of all the stuff that you're not, but you're not getting rid of it. You're just integrating it and understanding yourself, who you're not, and being okay with it. And as you become naked to your soul, what happens is you shine brighter. You get to the core, just like the diamond. You get to the core of yourself. And then as you see yourself, now what's next, right? And it has to do with, where do you go forth with this in manifestation? How are you able to now rebuild yourself and start again, anew? You know, it's like everything that we are renewing, it's not going to be the same energy as it was years ago or centuries ago. You see? It's not where you're feeling tied down and held down and bogged down and you're feeling like, oh my God, oh, I gotta go do this, I gotta go work, and I gotta go make the money and suffer and do all the things that society says we have to do, and I have, go get my education and then find my bride or my husband so we can all control each other and be all caught up in all this, and then vote for these politicians so they can rule over me too, and then I gotta go to church so that way they can tell me what to do and take away my money, and then all my money's also going into the mortgage. Let me not go all there, right? So you see how heavy that feels? You see how heavy, you see how deep and heavy it feels? But then when I go into the prospect or the perspective of, I rule my own kingdom, I am divine, I am free. I am free, and I'm taking the shackles off my feet, because, before I took up this phone to record this, I heard the Holy Spirit say, oh boy. I heard the Holy Spirit say, let my people go. Let my people go. See? So it came back into my memory because of the template that I carry with my twin soul. We led our people out of bondage, but it wasn't more so the physical place we went to, but it's the emotional place. The emotional place. Because, emotional bondage is I want to say it's not worse, but it's much more difficult than the physical. Because you could be tied up somewhere and be in your joy. You know, where somebody ties you up to a chair and you could just be in your joy and la 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 la. You know, like you're saying to yourself, I don't give a fuck if you tie me up. I don't give a fuck what you do to me, but you will not steal my joy. Like when somebody comes around and they're all miserable and they want you to join them in their misery love company. When they say misery love company, they're not joke business that, you know, in misery love company, they just want come with a sad story and everything going wrong every day something, you know, I just can't resonate to those conversations any longer. You know, I might go there for maybe like 5 minutes and shit, and then I'm like, okay, bye, talk to you later. See you later, alligator. See you in a wild crocodile, or see you no more. Don't you come back no more, no more, no more, no more. Hit the road, Jack. Don't you come back no more. What you say, and that's it. That's how I roll. And it gives me another element of freedom, see? Freedom is within you, and it's something that you attain yourself. I can't tell you what to do to be free, because I could give you all the words and all the wonderful sayings in the world, but if you're not taking that step towards your own freedom, then you're still walking around with the shackles on your feet. You see? So the freedom, what Spirit is showing me, comes from you embracing your power. You embracing your full power, coming into your full power as the divine masculine and divine feminine. And it's within you that you balance out this power. And the same thing happens with your twin soul or who you're connected to as they balance within their own power. That's what brings in this merge and this integration of power. And there it creates that pillar of strength. And when you see the 11s and the 22s and 1122 and 1111s and 11, it has to do with what's coming in universally and energy and what's merging and integrating. So today is 11/29, 2018. It is still an 11/11/11 again. And what it is that when the portal had began with that energy, it brings it together into this, I say almost like the finality, I guess, the end stage of something. The end cycle of something. What has been ending and what's been ending is the energies that we have accumulated, you know, and this is for when you're really working through your shit now. It's not where you're just listening to a bunch of videos and what this person says and you say, oh yeah, that's what I'm going through. But then there's more stuff that has to do with you personally that person can't see. That person can't see what's happening with you personally, because it is your personal journey that you're having with Source. And that's why even if you take bits and pieces of what other people say, are you also paying attention to what's being shown to you personally? Because that has to do with your own empowerment, that you have the power to discern and to feel and to know what to shift away from and what to keep and where to stay centered and balanced with it. You see, that's the important thing. So again, the message is, how are you embracing your power? How are you embracing yourself authentically? How much are you being true to yourself? How much are you embracing this power? How much are you honoring this power? How much are you honoring and acknowledging this power? You know, because acknowledgement plays a very key role when it comes to yourself. Because as you acknowledge yourself, others acknowledge you, because it's like you have a protective shield around you where I am, and nothing can come in that space to say, they're just, oh, okay, wow, I honor you. See? And it's kind of different where you're not looking for permission. You're not looking for acceptance from anyone. You see? You are receiving it within yourself because you're giving it to yourself. And then you're receiving it. But you're giving it to yourself, not looking for it to come from someone. Because as you give it to yourself and you accept it and you honor it and you nurture it and you love it. You know what time when me look back from the video and I'm speaking of Patrick, that's when the passion come out in me. I'm say, I mean that? Whoa. I say, I just love myself, you know, I just love the way I'm going in the things, I'm just going in it, and I'm just stand steady, strong in it, and I'm just proud of myself. I don't need nobody permission. Okay, so I'm going to say that in English now. So when I see myself and I see how I am and I see how powerful I am, and then look back and I look at how the things that I say, what I laugh at, what I enjoy, And when I see myself in all the things that, when I go back looking at my videos and I'm like, wow, that's me. That's really me. Oh my God. And I start to laugh. I literally laugh at myself. And that's the delight that I have within me. And it makes me feel more powerful because it didn't matter. It's not like I'm looking at it with anybody watching me, but I'm enjoying looking back at myself and reviewing me in the expansion that I have made, the progress, my soul evolving and expanding in consciousness and wisdom with the inner child, the younger me, the new me, all of me, and I, and we, you see? Because the soul delights itself to know itself by what? Experiencing the opposite of a self and the similar aspects of the self as it brings itself together like Humpty Dumpty, you see? But again, the key thing is, how much are you embracing your power? How much are you acknowledging your power and accepting it? And therefore, as you accept your true power and the true self, therefore, you shall go out there and express it. The divine feminine had been suppressed. And please understand, divine feminine is not subjected to those in the female body only. Because when the divine feminine is integrated, even those who are in the masculine male body, there's a difference with how the power comes across, because it's like you're being strong and humble at the same time. You are vigorous and you're patient at the same time. You are nurturing yourself and you knowing when to give to others when, there's someone is of need of some kind, right? But you know when to hold back and honor yourself, and you know when to move forward and take action. See? And that everything you do, everything you speak, everything you say, it comes into a greater balance because you're honoring your feelings and you're honoring another person's feelings. You know to detach from whatever they're experiencing and not take it on yourself and take up space within yourself. You see, because what that does is that it interferes with your union when you give so much. You see? And it's even if it's a conversation, because it doesn't even have to be if you're reading for someone or healing someone. It's knowing when you have passed that limit, knowing when to have those boundaries set in place. That's what matters. That's what creates that peacefulness within you, and we're not developing any resentment. You see, that builds into anger and frustration, because there's always a part of you as that little child that rebels because you want to be yourself and you want to be in your freedom. Children love to run and play and skip and hop, and they'll do it like 24 motherfucking 7. I know that because I have 5 of them and I got 2 little more. So, and that's what this freedom means, is that you're free to be the child in you, whether you're an adult or a teenager. Be who you choose to be and be all of it, as you integrate all parts of the self, that even the part of the self that can't stand a motherfucker, cause they an asshole, cause they act like a motherfucker, an asshole, then you tell them and say, I'll pray for you, but you're an asshole, you're a motherfucker. And don't hold yourself back to how you feel, because that's how you feel, because too much time people mask it, and they're looking at, oh, look at her, oh, you look so wonderful, and they're so fake and hypocritical, you see? Instead of just being honest and authentic and just say, hey, I don't like how you do so, blah, 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 whatever. And this, or if you can't say it to the person, then write it down, but express it. Express yourself, okay? Don't go for second best, baby. Be the best that you could ever be, okay? Express yourself. I've done that video before about expressing of the self. You see, because as you internalize anything, always remember to complete that circle and externalize it as well. You see, it's just like me. I have all these messages and I'm like, okay, I'm trying to put myself together. I'm trying to alchemize all of this and process through all of this, going to the toilet 4 or 5 times a day and all that, and then the heat coming through my body and then rashes and all these things, right? And then there's all this data coming through me, all this data. And so, I then said, okay, I have all this information. Now it has to come out. I have to express it. So I pick up the phone and I record. And then I got this huge revelation about me and saying, hey, I'm going to put the segment out there to do with what was revealed to me with who I am and also my twin soul and my divine complement. There is nothing for me to fear. What is there to fear? You know? Because guess what? 5 years from now, 10 years from now, it's still the same. 'Cause I am that I am that I am. I was already recorded in history, and humanity destroyed or tried to destroy some of the information. But guess what? You cannot destroy something that is existing, because energy doesn't die. I'm still here again and again and again. The soul transcends through all the elements of, anything that can represent darkness or repression or disintegration or whatever it is that shows up that goes against it, and the resistance. You see? And I go back to that movie Down to Earth, when I was watching it, and my higher self said, "You're going to watch it." I was like, damn, we need to go on my bed. And I said, no. And I just sat there and I watched it. This must have been like the 10th time. But each time that you go ascend higher in consciousness, what happens is, as you ascend higher in consciousness, you see something more and more and more. This is how it happens. This is how it goes. This is how it rolls. And in Down to Earth, the character that Chris Rock played was that he died. And then he had to get into another body because there was something he wanted to finish living out. And so he wanted to be with the young lady that plays, can't remember the name. But anyway, the young lady. Let's just say the black girl, okay? And so he went into a white man's body. The thing is that his passion was that he was a comedian. And there was things that he still wanted to fulfill. That was within his soul. That was his soul's desire. And so he went into but it was temporary. And what happened is he ended up saying the same thing to her while he was in the white man's body, saying to her that, "I just want to feed you." When she's like, "Are you asking me out on a date?" And he said, "I just want to feed you." And so he took her out and they fell in love while he was in the white man's body. And so no matter what, she kept saying, "There's something about your eyes." She said, "There's something about your eyes." And he just looked at her, and you could see, the angels told him, when you're put in this body, you're going to see yourself with who you are, but everybody else is going to see you as this white man. And for him, he didn't care, because all he could think about was being with her and what it takes to be with her, because his soul desire was to be with her. And then what happened now is that after everything was turning out so lovely, in the meantime, back at the back station, people were hating on him. They were hating on him as because he was an old version of himself. And then the newer version of him in the white man's body was that he was giving with his heart. So it's like saying, you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. When he was the white man that was being dishonest and not caring and all that stuff and cold-hearted, people didn't like him. And then some did like him for being that way. Then now, as the soul itself, there was a different soul that came into that body as a walk-in. There were people who didn't like the fact, because the ones who were scrupulous didn't like that. And the ones who did love him, because he was expressing himself in the true essence of love. And so the ones who were scrupulous that didn't like him for being that way now, they decided they were going to kill him. So they did. And Chris Rock was like, no, I can't leave now because I'm this close. I'm this close to being with, I think her name was Chandra. I can't remember her name. And so it happened. He ended up getting killed. So the angels then said to him, we found you a new body. And it was another comedian, because when he went on the stage and he was bringing out with his comedy, the black people were looking at him like, who the fuck are you to be making these jokes about black people and you white? And they were like, are you fucking crazy? So he tried to be fake about it. And then he realized that he wasn't getting the reception that he thought he could get, because he wasn't being his true self that was within him, the inner him. So he decided and said, fuck it, I'm just going to be myself. And so he started to become himself again, meaning that he embraced himself again, his true self. And he said the jokes as who he is, and everybody started to laugh. So he made a joke about the black guy that was teasing him. And then he became a success. He became a success because he was being his true self. You see, that's what happened. And so as he became the successful who he is, and of course he still got killed, so now he had to be placed back in another body. So he was placed back in another body as Joe, who was a comedian also, and he was black, and he was like, yes, I'm black again. You know, I'm black again. And that's what I say, I'm black again, right? But we really are a combination of everything, truly, because it doesn't matter what color of the skin. It's not about the color of the skin. It's what's measured by the heart. By the heart. What is your heart telling you? What is your heart speaking? What is your soul speaking? It comes from your heart. It doesn't matter what body you attain. Because you see, it doesn't matter what body you attain, because you see, the soul, and this is for those who are on the twin soul path that are in doubt as whether or not you're going to come into your entire union. The soul just crosses and goes through this passage of time and millennium where there's no time, no space. It just is. And his soul said, I want to be with her. And the angel said, well, you are. They said, but we're going to erase your memory. You're not going to have any memory of all of this. And all they said to him before they snapped him away in consciousness from who he was, is that they told him to trust. That's what they said. They said, trust. And by the time he could even say, but, he was already, did not, in memory of what happened in the past. You see? And so as he came into this new body and he was at the Apollo, which is interesting, he came into contact with the young lady again. And they got reacquainted again. And he said the same words. He said, do you mind if I take you, to get something to eat, whatever? And she's like, are you asking me out on a date? He said, I just want to feed you. He said the same words that he said when he was in the white man's body and when he was in the other body. See? The soul knows the way. The soul knows the way because he always came from his heart. He came from his heart space. You see? And he stayed authentic. He remained authentic. And she said again, there's something about you. It's your eyes. She recognized him. So always remember too, to see each other from the heart and not what you just physically see. See someone from the inside more than the outside. You never know what you could be missing. So I leave you with these words of wisdom and love and clarity and peace. And remember to be your true self, your true authentic self. Because you, the part of you that's you in all the multidimensionals you, is leading you towards yourself. And remember, as you awaken to yourself, and you bring all the elements of the self, the light and the shadow, the dark and the light, whichever words you prefer to use, it's still you. And you can't run from your shadow, because I say if you go outside when the sun is shining, your shadow is there. You can see your shadow. And if you walk to the left, your shadow is there. You walk to the right, your shadow. You can't run. If you want to leave from somewhere because you don't want to face someone, because it has to do with you coming into your power, if you try to go someplace else, you're going to face it through another person, because it's an energy that's with you. And that's why we have to face ourselves during these times. And as you face yourself and you face your power and who you are and your powerful self and embrace it, you just come to the point where you say, oh, fuck it. I see me. I see myself. And I'm okay with it. Peace, love, and blessings on this wonderful day of wisdom, strength, and love. Namaste.